All right. Good morning, traders. 2 days before the end of the year here. All right, so let's do this morning overview. I want to say thank you for everyone who is part of our group. Uh, just getting towards the end of the year, and you can check out the homepage if you're interested. Kyle put in the room if you want to do the yearly special. We're only going to really offer it to the end of the year because we want to commit 1 year at a time. I'm not sure how long I want to do this, but I'm enjoying it. Just want to let you know. TradersHighway.com. All right, let's move on. We got some interesting markets going on today. And this is part of this rally is the seasonal Santa Claus rally. Now, it doesn't mean we have to rally all the way to the close or, the year. Often I've noticed that when a Santa Claus rally is similar, where we're making new yearly highs like this, right? You get a sell-off in the first week of the year because if the market's really rallying and you sell it here, let's say you bought Apple at 125 or 30 in the beginning of the year and it's at 194, you're going to pay capital gains if you sell it now for this year. If you wait till next year, you could roll the taxes. But then what happens is, if you remember that one January we closed, or December we closed in the highs, then we had a major sell-off in the first week in January. So just a little 2 cents from after 46 years in the business, I kind of have seen it all. But let's take a look at what we got going here. Okay, you see the PAV. I put the PAV reversals here when we had this little bit of a consolidation after the number. Of course, sometimes we get this overaction up, made new highs, yearly highs right on the number, and then we came back down and had a little buyer's remorse. You see the sell signal came in right around this 34, and then we continued. So this is just short term, of course, for the 5 minute. All right, let's take a look at market profile. This is a nice way to really step back and look at it, right? This is basically I just want to put this in the inside pocket from this little last 2 days. We're coming into it and we're testing the inside of it. My pivot is down here at 48.25. That's the point of control, right? Where we traded during the US session the most. And it was quite the quiet day until the very end. That was pretty a lot of fun, right? You know. I felt they were going to take out the highs on the close, but I didn't expect that kind of rally. But hey, never say never, right? Let me let me get my drawing tools out here, just real quick. So, point of control, the top of the high volume node over here, the first hump. This was the value area from yesterday. So we will probably come into the pivot. I think we'll test the pivot now. Once we get down to 48.24, that might be an area to catch a bounce and look for a pop after the opening. The reason why I say that is this is very trappish, where we made new yearly highs during Asia and Europe. And if we don't do it during the US session, that's usually a pretty negative thing for us, negative signal. So they're going to have an attempt, I think, after the opening to come back up and maybe test the overnight highs. All right. So let's just take a look real quick. Hang on a second. I get a bar chart here. So when we broke out of this level here, that was, pretty much a bit of like a inverted head and shoulders, right? I was just looking at this. I wanted to mark it up for you. And then you saw this rally that we got here. And then we continued the rally over here. We're in an uptrend. I mean, obviously, you guys are smarter than that. This was for sure uh, you know, a little bit of a buy signal just in general. We had a nice turnaround here. You see the green bars, the PAV reversals. These are not up and down bars, right? As you guys know, this is the PAV reversal. So when we turn green here, I just take a look at the fact that we had very few PAV cells, right? And then we took off, did consolidation. Now we're up here. We're a little bit frothy to the upside, no doubt. And I'm not sure that, we're really going to hurt them before the end of the year. I think the first week of the year could be very interesting. We might have a repeat where we had closed in the high of the year one year, and then the next year you saw this profit taking. Now the numbers are interesting because it's we're used to bad news is good news. And but the more bad news that comes in, of course, that's great for the Fed and lower interest rates, but it's not really showing that the economy is kind of losing a little bit of their grip and slowing down. So it's a fine balance, but I don't look at fundamentals in general. I'm just looking at this chart. We're still in an up mode. You see we have a PAV here, another PAV buy. No sign of fatigue yet, but so you got to go with the trend. That's just the way it is. The trend, that stupid saying I hear all the time, which it's true. The trend is your friend, but but this rally has been relentless and has been pretty transparent. We've pretty much, you never hear me say, let's get too bearish. This here was definitely a consolidation, and above or below that would have changed the trend, but we got back above it, and that's it, right? All right. Let's move on to the next chart, right? Let's go to the crude here. 1 second. All right. So the crude had a pretty nice rally off these lows down here, right? All the way from 67 up to that 76 area, really close to the 200-day moving average, which came in at right around 76.40 or 45. So no doubt we got pretty close. So now that we kind of bumped up there, we put in a nice high because we made this high during the US session, did a little consolidation here, and slowly have been coming back into support. Now, this whole blue area that I call it the pool is where I think we'll hold it, right? But if we get below 72.40, I'll show you another chart. That wouldn't be good for this crude. I think we can take it down. So let's go to the crude for a second here. Okay. And I gotta do one thing here. All right. So we kind of covered this on and off. I use the 30 high moving average on the daily and the 30 low, and then I have this Keltner over it. But it's very interesting. You could see the 200-day moving average comes in as of today, 76.52. I have it circled above here, right? Hang on a second. And then over here is the 30 low moving average on the daily. So that's 30 lows added up divided by 30, right? Gives you that point. Very big for me. So when you have a red PAV cell and we take it out, right? That wouldn't be good. That comes in at 72.69. 72.40 would be the bottom of that pool that I showed you. So this is going to be very interesting if we do take it out, because then we could go back and test the big $70 mark. So I'm going to be watching both the top and the bottom here. I don't think we're going to get it back up to the 200-day moving average today. We're in a PAV sell anyway. And this 30 low moving average is going to be very interesting to keep an eye on. So going back to here, that's right here. So we're going to watch if we take that out. Meanwhile, what do? We held it. 72.70 is the 30 low moving average. This 40 is the bottom of this pool where we kind of held this big coil. And pretty good chance that we're going to catch a little bit of a rally and come back up to the point of control from the overnight session, right? So we'll keep that in mind. The overnight session, this point of control comes in right around 74. So we could catch a little pop up there. I don't think they're going to spank them today. If they got below 73.70, or let's just call it, or 72.70, or 72.40 would be the confirmation, then all bets are off. This crude could break. All right. All right, let's go to the next chart here. We've got the gold, right? We'll look at this first, and then we'll look at a daily bar chart, right? I'm just trying to show you a little bit of both, because we're at really important areas. It could go either way. So here's the these highs here are pretty important all the way up to 98. Now, yesterday, you heard me all day. I think we're going to go up to 97, this level, and we went up to 96. But the overnight session, during Asia and Europe, right around that same time, they kind of put in a higher high, but they really couldn't get anything going, and then the market broke down. So you've got the bottom of this ledge here from the overnight. Might have a little bit of a cave fill. The pivot for me is 2089, 88, give or take one handle there. It's the point of control from yesterday during the US session, but it's also the beginning of this cave where we might come in and do some filling in. I think we'll hold the 2081 area down here and try to get back above the pivot. They get above 88, and we can maybe go in and do a little cave fill. All right, but there's the gold, the EC, and the bonds, kind of cousins, have been working together lately. They're usually correlated for the most part. They've been in this uptrend, and you can see it over here if I bring up the gold chart. Hang on a second. All right, where's the gold? There we go. So we've got this trend that's really working. We've been respecting the upper side of this trend. 2103 is the top of like this channel. I know it looks textbook and all that stuff, but it is what it is, and this is what the world looks at. So we've got to pay attention to this little channel. But we came pretty close to 21, couldn't do it. This 2103 you could see is the top of this channel, and I put it on as well on this on the chart, the MP chart. And you can see over here that 96 was really important yesterday, and the overnight market took it out. That's the top of this move here right before this wacko move that we had on Sunday. That, kind of quick spike Sunday night, when that news came out 2 weeks, what was it, 3 weeks ago, I think? Yeah, something like that. All right, so it's, going back to the MP chart. My pivot's 2088. We opened and poked above it. That's the point of control from yesterday. So pretty much held it because point of control was just a little higher if you draw it perfectly. But I put it below the ledge because I felt like between the point of control and the bottom of this ledge, we would hold. Now, we did fill out this morning this cave in between, right? And the US session pays more attention to filling out a cave when we open up in the morning than filling out the cave in the overnight sessions. But we did fill out the cave. We respected the pivot. We're at the point of control, middle of the range, so we'll see. I think the market, might have one more test. I don't think we're done with testing the upside, but if they fail to take the overnight highs out, then we could return to sender and maybe come back down to 2077. All right, let's go to the next chart. Now, if you remember what I was talking about, how we've been in this uptrend, same thing with the EC. The EC really had a really big extended move up. You can see we left a gap here, and it's been a little bit of a sharper move. But we did have a little bit of a bull trap up here that I think might have trapped some of these longs in EC. So, this was a nice P formation, very bullish, leaving, we opened, gapped, and rallied, which, is extremely bullish day. Of course, the Asia and Europe session got all excited and went up here and put in new highs, but you could see what happened when we opened and we failed to take out the previous US session high here, right? That's a big sell signal. And I caught a little bit of this morning, but I kind of was a little lethargic on the opening, but you could see right here that was a great short because we couldn't take out the previous US session high or even let alone go up and take out this overnight high. Meanwhile, had a nice push down, didn't quite test the US session low from yesterday. I don't think we're gonna. I think that was a test, even though this will eventually get tested. I don't know if it will today. Are you guys seeing the right screen here?
Hey, we're looking at the euro currency currently.
Did you see the other screens?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So anyway, you never know, right? So you see these single prints here? I think we're gonna try to work our way back up to fill at least single prints. I don't know if we'll get all the way up there, but the high volume node comes in at 111, 111.43 kind of to 44, and that would fill in most of those single prints. And it's also the point of control from yesterday. So we might get up there, but I don't think we're going to retest the highs. But if you look at it, it's very much similar to the gold. Here's the EC, right? Let's take a look at the gold. Let's take a look at the bonds. They're all in the same correlated uptrend. Now, who's going to be the first to break? Who knows? But the trend is still up. You got PAV sells, and so see the gold, or I mean buys. These color bars are all PAV buys, they're not up and down bars. Just want to remind you guys when I show you this. So we continue to move higher. We tested the top of the range on the EC during the overnight sessions. We might have another little pop up there. We'll see. All right, let's take a look at the bonds. Bonds, not as quite of a sharp rally outside of this this last coil that we had, but don't forget, the bonds had this big rally all the way from, I mean, this started quite the ways back. The difference with the bonds is if the Fed is announcing, you know, rate hikes like it did for a year and a half, uh, you're not going to get a lot of love, right? To the upside in the bonds. What do? We broke whatever 20 percentage points or more. And now, not too long ago, they said they were going to, ease, and they started announcing rate cuts. So it's a little bit more of a fundamental market lately because the interest rates have been the focal point um, to help curve this CPI, right? So here we are. We started this big rally, FOMC, left a gap, coiled, positive consolidation. Then from this day here, we gapped higher, and here we are. And this was just Wednesday. So, so when you look at this, it's very similar to the EC and the gold, right? We left this high up here, and we haven't really tested it yet. I think that the bonds may get up and test the pivot in 125, 24. We still might have a little poke above there. And you could see we're filling out this cave, right? Um, Let me just highlight it for a second. Here's the ledge, point of control from yesterday. Here's the ledge on the bottom. And so we're just doing a little filling out this cave. So I think we could get up to 125, 24 to 25 pivot first. And if they fail to take it, get it on the other side of it and go for the overnight highs or the US session highs from yesterday, then we can come back to a little reality check and back off a bit. All right. So if we were to look at this on the bonds, on the dailies here, right? Here's the bonds. We've got this channel moving higher, parallel channel. You can see in the bonds, especially, how strong this rally is. This is, interesting because you see we only had one reversal down, reversal bar or two PAV cells, two here, and could not really back off at all. So we've rallied all the way here in the 107 area, all the way up to this 125 plus area. It's a huge rally in a short period of time. And you can see on the downside, we did the reverse. We had very few up signals, daily on the dailies. So that's how the bonds just roll. It's a little bit different than most other commodities because it's more fundamental, I think, than anything else. Interest rates are the huge focal point, especially in the last 2, 3 years. All right, let's get back to our main screen. Take a look here, see what we're doing. Hang on a second. Take your Dramamine. Sorry for the wiggles and jiggles. When you have so many screens, it's great because for me, I have 10 screens and I have everything set so I don't have to switch too much. But if I'm only showing this one screen, as you know, it's a juggling act, right? To show you this. Now, of course, we have Kyle's screen and my screen, and Linda puts hers up sometimes. So here's this down move, PAV sell. This is the first PAV buy. Now, generally, this area here is a nice scalping area, but we're going to open up in a second. So I'll say I'll wait to the opening, and then we'll get cranking.